Hello, hello, it's Pauly G back with another math question. This from Bon F. It says, the sum of the ages of Dakota and Kristen is 84 years. 7 years ago, Dakota's age was 4 times Kristen's age. How old is Dakota now? This is a really interesting question. I think it makes it, what's interesting about it is the 7 years ago. So what we're actually going to do is actually we're gonna write these equations, but we're gonna write these equations from 7 years ago. So what we're gonna have here is two equations. And if you have the number of equations equals the number of unknowns, then you can solve it. So if you have two equations, you need two unknowns, then you can solve it. But if you had two equations and you had three unknowns, that's not enough equations. The number of equations must equal the number of unknowns. Okay, so if the sum of ages of Dakota and Kristen is 84 years, then we want to write this for 7 years ago. So what would the sum of the ages of Dakota and Kristen be 7 years ago? Well, actually, you would have to, Dakota was 7 years younger, and so was Kristen. So you'd have to subtract 14 from 84. So the sum of their ages 7 years ago was actually 70. Okay, well, if Dakota, how old Dakota is 7 years ago plus how old Kristen is D and K, right? So Dakota's age plus Kristen's age equals 70. That's our first equation. Ta-da! Okay, next one is Dakota's age was 4 times Kristen's age. Now, students often get this confused. Is the equation going to be D equals 4K, or is it going to be K equals 4D? Those are your two options, right? And if you don't know, just let's just pick some numbers, right? Let's just say Kristen's age was 4. Well, if Kristen's age was 5. If Kristen's age, I'm arbitrarily making this up. Say Kristen's age is 5 years old. Well, then how old will Dakota be? If Dakota's age was 4 times Kristen's, well, Dakota would be 20 would be 20. So which equation, door 1 or door 2, would that work? And if you don't know, plug it in. Well, it would be this one, because 4 times 5 equals 20. Here, if you did this one, 4 times 20 does not equal 5, so it can't be that one. So if you're ever confused, write out your options and try to make a test for yourself. All right, so now we know D equals 4K, and now we have our two equations, two unknowns. We're going to take this equation, and we're going to put it in here. Okay, so 4K plus K equals 70. Now we have 5K equals 70. This is just inverse operations. The 5 is connected to the K by multiplication. So the inverse operation of multiplication is what? Division. All right. So we'll divide by 5. 70 divided by 10 is 7. So 70 divided by 5 is going to be 14. So K equals 14. All right. Well, then we can plug in now and get D. So D, or actually we could plug into that one, or we could plug into, we don't even have to do anything. We could actually plug into here. This one's an easier one to plug into. You don't have to move anything around. So then D equals 4 times 14. All right. Oop, I ran out of room. D equals 4 times 14. And 4 times 14 is 56. Now, that was Dakota's age 7 years ago. Remember, we solved this for 7 years ago. That was the trick with this one. So if Dakota's age was 56 years old 7 years ago, how old is Dakota now? I think you have what you need to finish this problem, and I wish you well. Wish you luck, wish you well.